I've actually done business with 2 or 3 of the people here on this panel. I've done business with Craig. Several of my producer clients have done deals with IOTA, and Maria and I have actually done a deal a little bit while back, and it's actually really nice to see some new faces in the industry. I've been in the industry for 20 years, and you can really see from this panel a shift in who's now active in the industry, and it's kind of refreshing. So, and one of the things that Craig pointed out is that there's a little bit of confusion as to what the distinction is between a digital distributor and an aggregator. The distinction, and Maria will get into it further along in our panel, is that the aggregator really assembles content, whereas a digital distributor procures distribution for a client, for a label, or for a producer. And I think to make it less confusing, we're just going to refer to digital distributors and aggregators as digital distributors, so that we don't confuse the audience. And with that said, I think there's a lot to be covered in talking about digital distribution and thinking it through. I think that there are some basic questions that everybody in the audience has about kind of where are we, maybe where were we, and where are we going? It's sort of like the development of digital distribution and what was the record industry is sort of unfolding before our eyes. And I think the first question that I'm going to pose to our panelists is probably the one that's on most everyone's mind in the room, is that do you really need to secure a deal with a well-known label at this point? There used to be a time where you came to a conference like this and you hoped to go to the party behind the National and meet people so that you could get your record picked up by Ministry of Sound or Head Candy or Ohm Records. And the question, as we see history unfold for us, is whether that's even relevant anymore, whether that's really necessary. And to start off our lively discussion about that topic, I'm going to ask Maria to let me know her opinion. Maria?
Well, the answer is technically no, but you do have to, pardon my French, you do have to have your shit together. Basically, it comes down to this. Anyone here can go and start their own label, and you can bring it to me, and theoretically I will distribute it, or you can try to do direct deals with stores. But because of the saturation of content at the store level, basically servers are filling up, and the stores are making the reasonable decision that a label should basically have to be organized, it should meet certain criteria, and it should perform above a certain threshold to be able to exist in the store. And if it performs below that threshold, then it's either not going to get on in the first place or it's going to go away. And so for me, and I will speak for my company only, and other distributors can tell you about this, we sort of have to think like our top performing stores think, and we go in and we weed out before we even get there. And we want to make sure that as a label you're ready to go all the places that you want to go. And I think one of the issues with the transition from vinyl to digital is that when people wanted to do a vinyl label at a certain point, there was going to be an investment, a capital investment to make just even the basic manufacturing happen for the most part. And that goes away in theory with a digital label. The problem is that you still need to think about your product as if it cost you money to make it, because if you don't, you're going to go into the black hole of stores. You're not going to get ad spots, you're not going to sell, and there's going to be 50,000 other tracks that came out that week, and you're going to be buried somewhere in the new releases on page 5.
But Maria, I have a more specific question for you. You're sitting there at this point. Your business has been up and running for a few years. You've got some hip underground labels there. How many of them are prominent labels that we were familiar with in this industry over the last 10 years? And how many of them are basically labels that are created by producers where they give it a label name and they're just doing it on their own? And do you see the results of their sales being all that different? And does it really, in light of the fact that the people who set up their own deals and deal direct with you get a greater cut of the money, Do you think, in your opinion, it really behooves somebody to seek out a company like Ministry of Sound or Ohm?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, you should, as an artist, be trying to get on those labels anyways, because it's going to be good for you in general. But the example of this, on the other hand, is Mousetrap, Dead Mouse's label. That guy was here 3 or 4 years ago shopping CDs. Mousetrap is his label. He was like, what, 5 years old when he started it? And he's, arguably one of the biggest, not arguably, he's definitely one of the very biggest labels in all of dance music right now. And that's a label that's a perfect example. I tried to sign him before Mousetrap was like a big deal at all. I mean, I have him now through his management company, but that management company wasn't a problem that he had 4 years ago when I was here. And so, to that end, and I don't know what the magic combination is that makes that one label like that pop off and just explode. The music, it is, yeah. But I mean, there are people that have great labels with great music where that doesn't happen. But to say that, do you have to go to Ministry of Sound to have a record that performs successfully in the digital market? And the answer is definitely no.
Well, Maria, so let me see. I'm getting a little bit older over the years here at the Winter Music Conference. So that's Dead Mouse, right? That's what we're talking about?
Right.
Now, is that like Melody up in Canada, those people, or that is a different mouse? Okay, that's the same mouse. All right. Yeah. No, I'm familiar with that.
And to that extent, I mean, every big label started as a small label. Very few people just start at Ministry of Sound, and many of the top performing labels in digital dance land are new. They're upstarts. I mean, that's a big part of this.